It's all inverted. That's crap.
Hey,
Hey, Raz. Hey, Raz.
all right, just extracting the folder now. I'll be loading up.
Alrighty, I'm just in here plowing a field, so you have a place to do anhydrous. We may or may not be at this moment boob tube me. I don't know.
You haven't decided yet.
No, I hit the go button, but I'm not quite as popular as you, so maybe at 2 in the morning somebody gets home from the bar and they can't find nothing better to watch. I might get a shot.
Let me make sure it showed up for you. Yeah, it says you're live. Featured guest. YouTube's rising snack and effort. Oh,
Yeah, I figure you get a kick out of that.
I'm still laughing. Still laughing at the star. All right, while that's loading in, I'm gonna go refill my coffee. I'll be right back.
Alright.
Of course, I put the wrong password in. Dang.
Me too, 3 times. It's lowercase.
Then, of course, FarmSim just goes stupid when you put the wrong password.
Yeah, you have to hit Windows and close the window. At least I do. Hey, Will, how you doing, bud? We're just showing your map a little love here tonight. It's like underwear. I want to make sure people know they shouldn't change your underwear that often.
All right, let's try that again. I'll be right back.
Okay. I'm trying to get the cotton off this field on my resin. Use the anhydrous bar and put down some fertilizer on it. So that's the plan at the moment.
Alrighty, let's see where we're at.
I had a weird thing. A lot of these vehicles I'm getting into, everything's inverted. Like S is forward and W is backwards, and it's all weird. I've seen that a
That's
couple
not
of
good.
times, and I've never gave it much thought, but it's getting a little irritating.
So, just take this 8400R that's hooked up with the anhydrous.
Yeah, go ahead and get the cotton thing going. See if it'll go correct for you. I hired a helper, and he went about 300 miles an hour in reverse.
Huh.
Is it doing it for you too?
Yeah, it's reversed. There it goes. Never mind. There he goes. He's working now.
Yeah, good. Oh, CCS wants to know where he can get the map. You want to stick a link in the chat for him? I'm kidding.
I know somebody that wants to play that island map.
He says he's working on it.
Alright, so I'm going to fill this up. Should I fill this up or no?
Yep, that's why I left it sit there for you.
I gotta look at this thing.
get a little bored an hour from now, we can fast forward time and get that alfalfa to grow, and we can cut it and we can bale it to see if that works. Because I stuck the little lua in, so it should work. Hey, you like that, Will? I'm just gonna pretend it's case, and I'm just going with it.
It's turning off.
You got it figured out, Swillman, where you gotta make sure you got the centerpiece turned on. It should turn orange.
Yeah, turn it on and then just lower it.
Yep. Unless the field's already got full fertilizer, and that means I'll have to stop what I'm doing. You'll have to go through the crop.
No, it's not fertilized, but it keeps turning off by itself. I'll let you come play with it. Look at him run! I wonder if it's because it's cultivated already. Try some.
I don't know. I might be one of mine will just walk away. Could also be I turned something from true to false and I need to turn it back.
I'm gonna try something real quick. I don't know, man.
That's what I think it is. Ain't no big deal. I think there was a one setting in there that was always false, and I said for true where it ain't supposed to work when it's up in the air. Because I had that where I'd lift it up in the air and I'd be doing turns and still fertilizing everything.
I'll take it back to the anhydrous place.
Alright, I'm going to look at his store. I think those goofy things I made I never put on here because they weren't, they don't interest me.
So what shall I help you with, good sir?
I think the cows need attention. Now weeds, when they get all nice and pretty color, you can't kill them, right? I was thinking about turning them off. They're starting to annoy me.
You can spray before it's ready to harvest. But if you spray them, they'll die. Yes. So that I'm looking at your stream right now. That field you're looking at now, you can spray.
Okay, I was confused because I seen people do it and they killed them, but okay, now I know what you mean. Because I tried that one where we were doing cotton, and I guess that's because it was ready to harvest. I couldn't do it. Steam has this funny notion they won't let you send a game to strangers.
A water tank. I don't see one. You got a tanker here, but it's full of liquid fertilizer.
Yeah, I don't know. It's that you can see if you can dump it off in the holding tank there. If not, then I guess we can buy another trailer.
Hello.
Howdy, howdy.
What's going on, man?
My fingers is tired of typing.
Oh, we're glad to have you. It's usually just the three of us anyway.
Yeah, I figured I'd just pop in and say, yo, what up? Now that's that John Deere sprayer, isn't it? That new one.
Yeah, it's over this. I know I'm getting tired of my controls being backwards.
Gotta love it.
What'd you do to fix it, Raz?
I turned the
Guidance?
shuttle control on and off a couple times. Like hit control space a couple times.
Okay, yes.
So what was the issue with the applicator bar, the anhydrous?
Oh, nobody has this one. There's a setting in the XML that says for it to work if it's in the up position and it was on true, and I turned it to false and thought I did something nice, but apparently it screwed it up.
That's not supposed to screw it up. That's actually supposed to be, you did that right. Otherwise, it'll apply fertilizer while it's in the up position, which is not nice.
Yeah, I'll try it a little bit. I didn't have no problem with it, you know, doing it by myself.
Maybe it's an MP thing.
I can't.
Possible.
I can't get rid of this fert. Just want me to get another tank? Or...
Ooh, it doesn't unload.
Yeah, go ahead. You tried to empty it out over there with those goofy things I made?
Yeah. I can fill it, but it won't.
Right, those tanks might be full because they only hold 30,000.
When you were using the applicator, were you using the worker or were you just driving it yourself?
We were doing it ourselves.
Ah, okay. So I was going to say the AI probably won't work with it because you're doing it on a cultivated field.
Yeah, it says no capacity for liquid fertilizer. Okay, so it must be full.
So it's full. So yeah, go ahead and buy us a good one.
I see the community server is ditching Arrow Ghost already.
Yeah.
They change pretty quick.
Yeah, they do. 'Cause they got They want mods, mods, and more mods. The mods drive me crazy. You see, they came out with a fake anhydrous placeable. All I did was I took it in and then changed the fill type, and now I got a good placeable to sit around.
Yeah, I seen that a while back. It's just basically, I think they just ripped it out of Emerald Coast from 17. They took this tank assembly here and made a placeable out of it, which is cool. Because I took this out of a 2013 map, I think it was. Cleaned it up a little bit and used it in 15 and 17. Applicator looks good there. You said it gets dirty? Does it get dirty?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They both get dirty.
Very nice. Very nice.
Lights aren't the best, but you know that I just fudged the best I could from 19 stuff.
You saved me a ton of work having to do all that myself, because I was going to have to convert that thing myself. It would have been fun.
Man, this downtown looks so different without this guy turning this stuff into farm fields down here.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, that famous Lewis I heard all about last night.
Yeah, I'm wondering how Lewis got that past the town council. I guess because it's in a business district, he was able to pull it off.
Yeah, they don't care. They just want that tax revenue.
That's it.
Man, I'm way behind this week. I've just been spending a lot of time hanging out with the boys and playing video games with my kid. I should have made an episode today, but just couldn't find the time. But hey.
Well, the kid should always come first.
Yep. Yeah. My son, he's like, can you play this with me? And then we went swimming. We went to the lake, and then I was just like, I can't. I'm not going to rush it and make an ugly one.
Well, that's what you should do, because I look back on my childhood, and I never had that, so.
Yeah, we played Minecraft for 5 hours today.
That's cool.
Well, I finally got. He always wants to like cheat and make it creative and just spawn in his own stuff, and I'm like, buddy, let's make it challenging.
Mm-hmm.
So we've grinded out, and we've got our armor and our swords, and we're going through caves fighting monsters. He's like, wow, this is a lot of fun. I never used to like fight monsters. Now this is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, it's fun kind of being scared a little. I'm like, yeah.
That's nice.
That's the whole reason why we challenge ourselves is, if it's too easy, what's the point?
Exactly.
Don't fall in the lake.
Over at FSUK, they were talking. There was a little chat going on about some kind of a mod to cheat things in, and I mean, if you're going to go to all that trouble to cheat, why don't you just write a script that'll just drop money in your bank account and be done with it? What's the point?
Just give yourself $500 million and play.
Call it a game,
That's why that island map. I'm gonna really. I think I'm just gonna do a Let's Play series, and I'm gonna play it like I was talking to you about. Try to keep it really realistic, and kind of really punish myself.
I'm getting pretty close to being done with it. It won't be too much longer now. I got a guy that's going to give me a model for a much nicer ferry than the one I had before. So I think I can modify it to make it look like a ferry that shows up with maybe some containers on it and you're selling into it or something. I'll have to see how it looks, I'm thinking that a grain barge pulling up there to the port is going to kind of dwarf it. So I don't really want to do that. But once I get the sell point sorted out, then I'll be pretty close to being done with it.
Okay, I can't pull this water tanker out of the lake.
You have,
Need a
This is
little more
not
oomph.
good.
believe it or not, you have like super human strength. You should be able to chuck that thing all the way over to the farm.
Yeah, just pick it up and throw it. My Ropa wasn't lined up the other day, so I just picked it up and swiveled it around, set it back down. She worked great.
Yeah, it was too much weight. 18,000 liters of water here. I got the K7250. You think there'd be enough horsepower in that thing?
Oh dear, looks like Darren broke the applicator.
I did. That's quite disappointing. I was looking forward to that. But I shall fix it with one little word.
You know, it might be the ground reference node might be the wrong height,
What?
and allowing it to fertilize while up fixes it, because then it doesn't call for the ground reference node anymore.
Oh, well, hey, it was working perfect until I did my.
Until you change that true to false to true thing.
Yep.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the ground reference node on that model might not be low enough or something, or whatever. And it's just something we never noticed before because you hadn't changed it yet. But you know, actually, just fix it back the way you had it. Don't worry about it, because in real life, if you think about it, if you're a dummy and you switch on the anhydrous pump, it's going to spray anhydrous out with it up.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
It's going to be one heck of a mess.
I mean, you're going.
So it is realistic.
You're going off the field. You should be lifting it.
If you got any brain, you're going to be lifting that thing when you turn around at the end of the run. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. Just flip it back and be done with it. You got a good model there, so no sense in splitting hairs. What's the saying? My son and I were having a debate one time about realism in the farm, and we're like, there is a point where you can get too realistic. You can say, well, I got to change my oil, and I got to change it 1 quart at a time, and I got to sleep a certain number of hours, and I got to relieve myself before I get in the tractor, and you can just really get it to where it's too much like real life. So you have to have a little bit of creative license there, I guess.
Hey, Craig. How you doing tonight?
Hey, you got a lot of milk there, Darren. 10,749 a liter.
Well, I guess we're gonna need a trailer. There's no way we're gonna hand park those things like you guys did yesterday.
Is a growth spurt there or something? Crop is different.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. A lot of this was done in single player, and then I brought it over to multiplayer.
Do you have any more straw anywhere? Or no.
No, that's why I planted that one field. I guess you can buy some if you want. You can sell the 2 bales. I mean, we should be able to get it soon.
Yeah, they'll be fine for a while.
They just won't be grunting out the good stuff for the fields.
seconds here. I tell you what, that I've been watching How Farms Work, and he was demoing that New Holland is a skid steer, teleskid. That's what it was called.
Oh, it's JCB.
Yeah, it was a JCB. That thing was cool.
Yeah, I think I've seen that the beginning of that video. I never did finish it. You got a lot of good videos. They're real. If you want to learn about regular farm life, that's a good way to learn it. A lot of it's familiar to me from when I was little. Actually, my son and I went online the other day and researched this sprayer, and these speeds are actually realistic.
Yeah, I know that Hardy sprayer. I watched a YouTube video on it. That thing books across the.
Yeah, it does.
But like, I know you watch like Welker Farms. He's in that big brute. He's hauling. I think he's doing like 16 miles an hour or something like that. When he's spraying.
Yeah, we have a guy. Where I live, he has one of these, and he's booking through the fields pretty quick.
Well, I'll be back in a minute. My kids are banging on my door.
So you want me to get like the big in-game?
I plan on buying a lot of cows. I think under Buster's, you can get the American milk trailer, or milker trailer. If you
yeah.
use that. And
Big.
we have a truck up there by the grain silo.
Nice, got all these names on.
Yeah, I don't care for that. I was going to take them off, but I didn't. Gonna have to get good with this keyboard crap. We're gonna do anything in that competition, I mean, Farmer Klein's good, but he's always running up trees and poles also,
Yeah, it's tough to play with a keyboard. I'm still fiddling with the sensitivities, but then each vehicle's different. You know, like the turning speed on this truck is different than the turning speed on a tractor, which that's what's hard for me.
Alright, Craig, what were you trying to edit? The speed or what?
Oh, I'm back now. Kids had a little emergency.
Yeah, they always do.
Yep. He's banging on the door saying, Dad, Dad. Okay, hang on a minute.
This Peterbilt's pretty. I tell you, I love that little Mack dump truck I've been using in my series.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was going to ask you where you found that little baby. That's a nice one.
I'll have to dig it up.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it might have been one of the Facebook pages.
And you had a nice little, some other little implement you were using there. I noticed was pretty cool too. I'm trying to think of what it was now.
There was some old stuff, like small stuff.
Yeah, I've got the
that's
Cedar. I got the John Deere Cedar, and I've got the Ford pack. I guess y'all sent that to me already.
Mm-hmm.
Now I found, and maybe it was you that sent me the link to the planters as well. There was a little John Deere set of planters that actually looked even more appropriate instead of the blue one you had. The little John Deere, what was the name of them? The John Deere. It was a pack. It had 4-row, 6-row, and an 8-row in it.
Yeah, I can't remember. I forgot all about that. I should have used it.
Those are really cool.
That little blue planter I had, I wouldn't recommend it.
It looks kind of low res.
It is, and it's not animated at all.
But I looked at the John Deeres that you sent in GE. I hadn't had them in a game yet, but they are very nice. They're very accurate, and they have opening lids and everything on them, so they're really cool.
That's kind of weird.
I'll have to play with those then.
Take care of all
And it
that
reminds
stuff
me of
in
the
the
old
XML.
Massey Ferguson's drill that was in that MF old generation pack. I'd love to see that converted sometime.
Yeah, that Massey Ferguson pack was it was a great mod pack, especially if you were playing like on a British map. It was perfect.
I see old Midwest USA type maps. It's perfect too, because like I mentioned earlier, when I grew up in northern Missouri, Massey Ferguson was everywhere. I mean, it was the thing to have, was in Massey Ferguson. It was even more popular than John Deere. Oh, there was a John Deere dealer up there too, so you had quite a bit of that also. But
I love the back of this tanker. It's got a big giant American thumbs up on it. Busters. I didn't even know about his stuff until I played with Darren.
Yeah, that's cool. Man, I wish I could remember what the other thing was I was wanting to ask you about. Oh, I don't know if you saw the New Holland poop spreader. It's the only time I've ever seen an American style, real American style poop spreader. So New Holland 185, I think it is. It's a 185. It's actually, there's 3 of them. There's a New Holland, and then there's a New Idea, and then there's also H&S. But no, the H&S and the New Idea are just skins of the New Holland, and they're not accurate at all because the real ones look totally different. But the New Holland one was the one we had in 17, and it's a actual model that was built up accurately according to a real one.
I'll have to check it out.
If you don't have it, I'll shoot it over to you next time I get a minute.
Milk price. Milk price is $11.77. You want me to sell this, Darren?
Go for it. We'll come back and do something legit when Seasons comes along.
Yeah, speaking of Seasons, I'm working on my foliage layers in Emerald Coast, trying to get them to where they'll change colors with Seasons.
No, come on in, Craig.
Hang on a minute, got another kid banging at the door.
Hey.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How's it been?
Not bad.
How do you like being farmer?
Love it.
That's good, man. I'm happy. I know you were really looking for something.
Yep. No, I found a real nice little sprayer mod. It's more of an American style, old rusty looking thing, and it doesn't have a high enough capacity, and it goes too slow. So I wanted to up them. I extracted it all into a new folder, so it was all unzipped, and it still won't let me edit it with Notepad++.
That's strange. You are trying to just do the XML file, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it, and it will not let me edit it. Now the Hardy sprayer that's on the in-game mod hub,
Right.
that you can put the duals on and all that, I went in on that one and changed the speed, not a problem, to where I could go a little faster than 7 miles an hour, and it worked great. Did the exact same thing, and it worked. That other one, it wouldn't let me edit it.
Huh. What's it? Does it say something when you try to?
No, it won't do anything.
Oh, it won't even open the file?
Oh, it'll open it up in Notepad++, but it will not let me change the numbers.
Which one is that?
It's a little sprayer mod that I found.
It's the XML that you cannot edit?
Yeah.
Is it write protected?
That I have no idea.
Some modders do that as a little trick, because most of your Windows computers, ever since Windows 7, they like to hide file extensions. And so you may not even know that the file is actually write protected or not. I've seen quite a few that were write protected. I'm like, yeah, really? Okay, unprotect it and edit to my heart's content. Yeah, I remember Raz now what it was I was thinking about. That little small sprayer you had.
Oh, the little
That was such a cute little
Russian
thing.
one?
I like that.
Yeah, it was a little Russian mod. It only holds 400 liters.
Hey, it works good though. It's a smaller sprayer, which is nice.
It was 12 meters, and I found another one like that, but it had physics issues.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you detached it, it would just kind of float around and spin on like an axis. It didn't have like ground collisions, correct?
Oh wow, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that one, so I downloaded that one and tried it. It's a Russian mod, so I just got it off one of the rehoster sites. It's the only place I could find it. And
might have to get that from me when you get time.
Yeah. And
like
the other thing I liked about it is when I looked at it, it was only like 3 megabyte file.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what you've told me. I've been really watching the file size for what I download, because I know a mod like that shouldn't be, 40 megs. There's
right, exactly. 150 meg for a little pickup truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that Chevy Dually that Expendables put out, I think it's like 130 something megabytes.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I mean, it's a cool looking truck. It really is, and it looks nice in the game. But I just wonder how much is built on. I mean, how much of it is just tore apart from other places.
You have a lot of that, and then you have the way they're textured. If you look at a Giants model, the entire model will be textured from one texture in most cases, whereas now that they're using the UDIM arrangement, you don't even have to have the textures at all anymore, for some things. So with some of these older models like that, they rip them out of a game like ATS or GTA or some other game that's got a vehicle in it, And then they've got, I know one car I looked at, it had a texture for the disc brakes that was 16 megabytes just for the texture. So you had a 16 meg texture for the diffuse, and a 16 meg for the specular, and a 16 meg for the normal. It was a 45 meg right there for your mod just for the disc brakes.
Oh wow.
And I wasn't counting everything else in it. Then on the other hand, you'll have a little pixel. It's like 6 or 8 pixel square, one color that paints huge amounts of the body on it, and that's the reason why they can't be washed, because they don't have, the materials, and the way the textures are done is just goofy. So they look great, but I told my son a lot of that stuff is just drivable scenery. As far as I'm concerned, it's not really a serious mod, because you don't want it in the game. Too many of them, you're going to lag it down from having all the extra load of the textures and the polygons in it. Then you have one that looks really good like that, and then the inside of it is junk. That makes it even worse.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. All right, Darren, that's done.
How do you tell if it's write protected?
If you look in the mod itself, open one now. We have to unzip it, obviously, and then you can, the main folder for the mod, you can just look at properties, and then attributes. And if it says read only, then that means that something in there is read only. And by setting the property of the file to read only, you prevent people from being able to open it in an editor, change anything.
Yeah, that's what I think we did.
But it's a simple matter. You just open it up and untick the box, and close it. It's done. It turns off that read-only attribute.
I'm gonna fertilize field 12. I think Darren, it's corn. I think I can take one.
Okay.
One trick that some modders were doing back in 15, script writers, they were using a different script format other than LUA. That they would write their script in LUA, and then they would compile it into this other format. I forget the extension now for it, but excuse me. But you can't decompile it, so it means you can't change the script or edit it in any way or do anything to it. That's a good way, I guess, to put your script out there and keep it where everybody can have access to it, but nobody can screw it up and call it their own.
Who was it that was hiding? Were they hiding watermarks in their model builds? I can't remember who it was. It might have been in 17, because somebody said, "Oh, I built this," and then somebody said, "No, you didn't. I did." And they're like, "No, you didn't." And he's like, "Yeah, I did." And then he zoomed in, like on the, like where I guess, like down to a tiny little piece of it, and it had his name stamped on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he put the stamps like in Blender or something like that.
LBJ Modding was doing that. He made like little three-dimensional letters, LBJ, and then the word modding, and he would put that down on the hitch or something. Which was kind of funny, because a lot of his work, was coming from like Turbo Squid or Polygonish or places like that, and then he was tweaking it and calling it his own. So I mean, like, really, and he would take giant stuff and then use it and then call it his own. I'm like, how much of this did you build, yourself? He's good in Blender, he's really good in Blender, but I don't know how many things he actually made from scratch, from the ground up by himself.
Yeah.
But there's no fault, there's no harm, no foul. It's just that if you're going to call it your own work, you need to be truthful about where it all came from.
I just remember the Facebook conversation. One guy's like, "No, I built it," and I can't remember who it was, and they're like, "No, I did."
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, "Prove it."
Okay.
So we did.
So how did that conversation end?
I never got a reply from the person who originally claimed to make it.
That's funny. Well, it's really sad that the community has sunk to that level in some areas. where you have to deal with that kind of thing. You know, it's people make something and then they share it, and then you got to be a lowlife and go and steal it. You know, that's not cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing sharing mods, and but when you were like stealing someone else's thunder, being
Right.
like, "Oh yeah, I made that," you're like, "No, you didn't."
I had somebody do that to me way back in FS11. I don't know if you were around in the 11 days, playing with it, but there was a big planter like that John Deere DB60 that's in this, right here on this Fun Animal Coast right now. But it was the Keent's 3800 planter, which is a 24 row, same size planter, but it's blue and white. And that was the only good planter that we had back in FS11 that actually looked good, that was big, and there wasn't some stupid looking thing, that was unrealistic. But it had a lot of polygons. It was a big frame hit on the computer, and it was very complicated to animate it, unfold it, and everything. And so somebody had made a DB60 John Deere skin of it. And so I was just starting out, so I decided to make a Case International skin of it, and also a New Holland skin of it. Since both Case made a planter that looked very similar to that, 24 row, and New Holland had one pretty close back in the day too. And I released it just as a skins pack, with complete instructions on how to unfold the planter for people that are having trouble with it, and a few little tweaks and fixes to the model. Nothing major. I credited XYZ Spain because he's the one that made the original. But then I noticed that later on somebody else released, I think it was for 2013, and they took somebody else's converted planter and they put my skins on it, and then they called it their own work. I'm like, no, you didn't do those textures. I did, And I downloaded the original file that he claimed was his and opened them up, and I could see my textures and my little, almost like a watermark, but it wasn't an on-purpose watermark. It was just something that I had done in the texture, And you could see it's mine, and he was lying about it, saying it was his. People just have no scruples sometimes.
Yeah, they're looking for praise.
Yep.
They're looking for that thumbs up.
They're glory hoes. I'll tell you what, it's crazy.
And I like this fertilizer. I can tell you that. This thing is quick. Around here, they fertilize with old salt trucks. So they look like old salt trucks.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just old dump trucks. They got a spreader on the back. But all they're ever doing is hay. They don't. Like I said, there's one guy around here who grows soybeans.
Now, what does he plant his soybeans with?
A little 8-row old John Deere planter.
Oh,
because it's sitting over in the field right now. I don't think he's a farmer. I think he does it as a hobby or to get government money. That's what I'm starting to wonder. Because last year I never saw him harvest, and he doesn't till his ground at all. He does all he sprays it, because like this year it was just grass, so he sprayed it, killed it, and then he plants soybeans in it.
Okay.
And that's all. That's it. He's got an old I don't know if it's his, but when he does harvest, it's an 8820 John Deere harvester.
Oh, okay.
That's what the model of it. It's real boxy looking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what he uses. And I'd say he's got, I don't know, 300-400 acres at most.
Wow, that's
but
quite a bit to do with a little planter like that.
Yeah, he has horses and he has dairy cattle. I mean, he's just got a little bit of everything. but he's wealthy too. So I don't know what. That's why I'm wondering if he just does it for.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. He just does it for fun. Does it for a hobby.
I know he's a very wealthy person. He's a retired lobbyist. So
Oh wow, yeah.
I'd say he's got some money.
I see the real farmers don't make a whole lot of money anymore. It's getting sad. So yeah, you'd have to be doing it for a hobby.
You want me to harvest field 19, Darren? Looks like it's soybeans.
If it's
It's
ready.
ready. Yeah, it's yellow. It can go. Fire up this old John Deere. I don't know, this header looks an awful lot like a New Holland. That's weird.
Yeah, I wonder why. But don't complain, you don't have to have it falling off a header trailer, do you?
Oh, I'm not complaining one bit. I think it's a wonderful idea.
I think it's funny, I just sent the hired helper to do 15. We don't own 14, he's planting corn on it. I didn't think that could happen.
Hmm.
He's planting corn on it. This harvester looks good. Do you know what this mod's from?
That Facebook, that Sid.
Gotcha.
Well, that's that big John Deere combine. What is that? A 650 or something?
9470
Oh, okay.
STS is what's on the side. It says 2010 9470 when you get in it.
Hey, you want to see something funny? Well, I folded up this planter. And here, let me back up. Well, I'll
And it's
take
still
it.
bent.
Yeah.
It's bending the stuff. I see it. Yeah, it bends the foliage out. But still.
I was gonna fix that if I figure out how.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. That's there's no areas in the planter really that I guess like a note or anything. So I looked in a couple other ones that I had from the game, and I couldn't find anything. It's just a reference in the XML, so that might just be a game glitch. I don't know. It's kind of weird. See, if you had nodes in there, to define the bendable areas, and you just want to make sure the nodes are in the swinging wing part and not in the main root of the mod, but yeah, this doesn't appear to have any of that in it. How much does that silo hold?
They all hold 30.
30,000? I think they'll hold quite a bit more than that in real life. You could up that capacity a little bit if you wanted to.
Hey,
That
Will,
was-
I
What's
just
that?
sent you I sent you a Google Drive link of that sprayer.
Oh, okay, cool.
You can look at it whenever you get a chance. No big hurry.
Yeah, no problem. I can do
Because
that.
I'm not very good at trying to figure out what's what on them. I just kind of play around with it a little bit, and I'm just wanting to do it for my own use. I have no intention of putting it anywhere.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I'm not too fond of modders that like to write protect things and lock things up like that because it's so easy to circumvent it.
Yeah,
It's almost like an insult when they do that.
The other thing, like me and you said, heck, it's probably not even the original modder who's released
Right.
it.
Exactly.
I mean, so much of this stuff has just been carried over.
And I don't have any problem, fixing or converting something and then releasing it. Even if I can't get the original modder's permission, I just keep it on the down low, put it like in Discord or something just for a few. But I always credit people. I don't steal their work. I don't say, hey, I made this, because I didn't make it. I just say I fixed it. I added this to it. I added that to it. I fixed this problem with it. But so-and-so is the one that made it, because I'm not about stealing anybody's work. But if there's a perfectly good mod and I have the ability to convert it and nobody else is doing it, I don't see no harm in doing that.
Look, the soybeans are in rows.
Yeah, isn't that cool? Giants didn't do that. I can't take credit for that, though. That was a mod that was floating around out there. It's called Real Beans and Corn or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen the textures.
And it's a whole kit. It comes with a shader. It comes with an XML. And then, of course, the textures. And it's really nice because the corn has different stubble texture than the default, which makes it look like chopped straw, which is really nice. And then the beans in the XML, the beans are lined up so that they'll fit in rows, and then the textures are tweaked so that they'll look proper when they're in those rows, which is really nice because that's the way we do it. I never heard of anybody planting soybeans with a drill before. I'm like, really? And when I grew up as a kid, we used row planters to plant beans with.
I have. Plug every other hole in the drill and plant beans.
Oh, okay. Now, I've heard of farmers using a big seed drill, one of those air carts to plant corn with, which was very unusual. And they did something similar. They stopped like every other row on it. But they were getting the corn down in like, it was like less than 24-inch rows. In Missouri, when I was a kid, we always planted our corn in 30-inch rows, and a few folks did it in 24, but these guys were doing it in like 18 or 20 inches, which seemed kind of narrow to me, but you'd have to have one of them headers like it's in the game, the John Deere header that's in the game, the big one, that's got the real narrow rows on the header.
Yeah, my boss has got a Case International planter for soybeans and corn.
Mm-hmm.
For soybeans, it plants 31 rows. For corn, it plants 16. Every other row goes up.
Got it.
First one on each. It doesn't matter which end you start from. The first one on the end stays down for corn, and then every other one after, like that is, and it'll do 16 rows of corn, and then he harvests with an 8-row corn head.
That's nice. Yeah, Case never used to make stuff like that. I think that's kind of modern tech now.
Yeah.
A lot of your newer planters are coming out with multi-row type things like that.
Yep. And you raise it up all the way, after you've been planting, and you extend the tongue out, lengthen it out, and then you rotate the planter mechanism. It rotates around 90 degrees, and that's how you go down the road with it then.
Okay, yeah, New Holland had those several years ago, like a swing type, pivot type planter deal.
Yeah,
that's nice.
You're not watching, are you? You could have told me, hey, dummy, it's liquid fertilizer. I've been sitting here for 15 minutes.
I'm not watching.
Yeah, it's
my internet can't handle
planter, by the way.
You can blame Will and whoever else is watching.
I mean, I know they're contrary, but I was getting a little torque there, and I'm like, wait a minute, man, this takes liquid fertilizer.
Where's your tank on that thing?
It's that little goofy thing in the front, supposedly.
Well, the thing in the front is a dry hopper, just like the rest of them.
Where some of this stuff is land of make believe.
I guess. Well, see that planter, I've got that same planter in my save as well, but I chose the version of it that had the tanks instead of that third thing, because the third thing looked to me like an additional seed capacity, which is what it should be. But apparently the guy that wrote the mod or wrote the XML for it didn't set it up that way.
Well, it was the best I could find at the moment. Usually I figure I could fix this crap up, but sometimes you just don't feel like it.
Well, the planter's really good. I mean, it's a very well done planter. There's no reason to get rid of it. The only thing I would do if I was going to make it accurate was take that little third front one and just remove that option out of the store. Because you got the boxes that can go on the individual row units, those little sealed fertilizer boxes, and then you've also got the option for the liquid tanks in the that replaces that thing that's on there now. Is like 1 or 2 tanks, I think, also that can fit in the center. That's the way mine's set up. It's all in the store when you buy the thing. I just haven't had a chance to use mine yet, so I didn't notice that dumb foliage bending thing. It's like it's got some kind of force field sticking out from it on either side of it.
Well, I will go in the store and look, but I don't think I got the same model you did. Mine might have been.
Well, if not, I'll shoot you my model. Maybe mine is the fixed version or something. It's something my son found and sent to me. He tells me I don't have a Facebook account, but yet he's able to find all these cool mods that are straight from Facebook. I'm like, okay, sure. Whatever. All right, let's see. What is the name of that file on your planner?
Oh, I'm not sure. I just know it's the DB60.
Oh, JDDB60. There it is. I see it.
What do you want? Soybeans in the silo?
Yeah, that's fine unless you want to sell them.
I didn't even see what the price is. Let's see. I didn't know if you were gonna do pigs or not.
Yeah, I think I've been saving the stuff. I'd like to do pigs.
Oh, you got a 173,180 liters in there.
Just buy your pig food down there. It's cheaper than making it. Go farmer man, I'll do you a good deal on pig food.
All right, here we have it up. I have different boxes I can put on it. Anyway.
Let's see, what is that on standard? Smart. Okay, there's the Smart Choice boxes. Those are nice. Those are like little liquid fertilizer boxes that go right on the row units. I set mine up with those.
Crawlers.
And I just use regular wheels on mine because we don't really have the crawler around here.
Don't use the crawlers. Minnesota millennial farmer has nothing but problems with his crawlers.
Yeah, leave them little boxes on there. That's your liquid. That's one of them. Can you do Smart Choice Plus something else, or is that it?
No, this is it.
Yeah, you may. Well, now, how did you get that little seed tank at the top? Go through all your choices on the design, the Smart Choice boxes. Just tab through all that and see. Oh, there you go. Skip. Yeah, keep trying. No, on your second design, use that one. Fert tank. What else? That's it?
That's all.
Okay, well, just leave the little boxes on it, and then leave the tank off, and that's accurate. Just get rid of that third tank. Yeah, that's an accurate setup right there. That's the way I ran mine in 17. And when you do them in real life, those little boxes are all fertilizer tanks. They're liquid fertilizer. And that center box is useless unless it actually gives you more seed capacity, which it doesn't appear to do. So that's good like that. The way you got it, that looks good. See them little white boxes on there? In real life, those are disposable. When you get done with your run, you take them off, and then you turn them back in, and they can refill those. Then they just snap onto the row unit. It's pretty cool, actually. I must have a newer model than what you got. Mine had the liquid tanks and everything on it.
Found a nice looking John Deere no-till drill, 15 footer, and it doesn't work well with hired helper at all.
Now, what model of a drill is it?
Hang on a second, I'm looking.
I turned the weeds off. They were becoming too annoying for me.
Yeah, especially when you're just finished planting and they're already a foot tall right behind you.
Yeah,
That's just not
that's
cool.
rough.
I think it's called a 1590.
1590. And is it a drill or is it a? You
Yes,
said it's a drill,
it's a
right?
drill. It's a drill for wheat, barley, and stuff like that. But hired helper stops way too far away from the edge of the field and then turns around, and sometimes they end up going around and around and around and around in reverse without ever planting again.
I have that problem on. I was going to tell a client, if you talk to the Hoff Bergman people, I don't know how they have their AI set up, but it doesn't work very well. It's like every field, it only does like 60% of the field.
And to my knowledge, you can't do anything in the map to make AI act differently. So I don't know why they were like that, unless it's just too many obstacles. I know that in Emerald Coast it'll do that if you run up on a tree. And if you get too close to the highway, I mean the combine or cotton picker or whatever will stop 60 or 80 feet away from the highway and just sit there and say, "We're done."
Yeah, that's what I like. They get turned around. Done.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Darren, you got a lot of stuff in your silo here, man.
Okay. I don't know what all I put in there.
I know soybeans, you got almost 200,000 liters. Which, how many liters per bushel again? I can never remember.
I don't remember offhand.
It's
Now, Craig, that 1590 John Deere drill, how wide is it?
It says one.
I think they call it a 15-foot drill, but whatever that is converts to in meters. I think is what it is.
Oh, okay.
So that's the case.
I know the one you're talking about. That's a nice drill.
You got 5,000 liters or 5,000 bushels.
It's got an option for liquid fertilizer tank on the back of it.
Well, we'll be ready for some sueys.
1 bushel is 35.23907 liters.
Because Google is your friend.
Oh man, I lagged right into the
No, it's
field.
called it's an app called Unit Converter.
That too. That's what I need to do is write me an app and get rich.
Tell you
Figure
what,
out
man.
what kind of app to write.
I sit here, I think about that all the time. Stuff like Instagram, they got bought by for $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that's what I need to do.
See, I don't need $1 billion. I'd be happy with $1 million.
That's me. I don't need much. I've always thought though, I don't. Our GPS. I was actually talking to my brother-in-law and some other people, and I want a phone app that is GPS for inside buildings. So like if you go to large buildings, you know, like hospitals or universities or all that stuff, it actually has building GPS. So like if you were looking for a certain office or something like that,
You could find it really easy. Yeah.
Yeah, our GPS, commercial GPS, I think it's not fine tuned enough. I can't remember what someone told me. It's like within 3 meters, so you'd be off, 10 feet either way. So it's not quite there yet.
That's because the military does that. They for civilian use, your satellites are downgraded a little bit. They get the precision GPS, but we don't get it.
Yeah, that's what I was assuming is probably a security thing.
Yeah, so the only way you're going to get better GPS performance would be to have some sort of internal map of the building, maybe, that you could.
That would run like off of a Wi-Fi ping.
Maybe,
Yeah,
something like that.
I was talking to a couple IT guys I know, and they said it's a really good idea, and but they just don't think the pinpoint technology is quite there yet.
So the problem is with the satellite, as long as you have a satellite not giving you pinpoint accuracy, you're never going to get it, no matter how good you make your receiver. The receivers we have now are not really any different than what the military is using. It's just that they get that precision and we don't get it. So it's not about inventing new tech. It's just about removing that restriction from the satellite.
Do we have a cotton module? No. You used that flatbed, didn't you?
That's hooked up to the truck, yes.
Yeah, I saw that on your first video, Raz, where you had that John Deere cotton harvester. I think it was your first one. Yeah, I had that. I tried that briefly in the game, and I hate that piece of junk. That thing was cobbled together and looked terrible, and it has some kind of a script in it that blows the cotton bales for the case, because I had my case sitting over in another field, and when I went over to look at it real quick, I had a big cotton bale just sticking out of the sides of it with a yellow wrap on it.
Yeah, you can't use both of them, and there's no steering wheel. Like there's no steering wheel. I just did it just for like the story purposes.
It was
and then
cool
I
for
deleted the mod.
Right.
Yeah, I just did it for the whole cinematic side of it, because I knew a bunch of people were having problems with it, but it worked enough to get a shot.
Well, there's a guy working on it, or working on a new one. I think he's building a whole new one, and I'm hopeful that he'll get it right. And because it'd be nice to have a John Deere alternative. I know in 17 somebody made a John Deere sugarcane harvester, but it had a lot of problems, a lot of errors. But the model looked real accurate. It looked just like the real John Deere one, but I never got around to using it.
Now, Raz, when you do your vids, do you cheat at all? I mean, you're not actually spending your whole day farming just to get a silo full, are you?
I've cheated a little, but a lot of like the Emerald Coast thing. The reason why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it is because a lot of it is me just playing, and I don't want to sit and talk about the same thing over and over again. I don't want to talk about harvesting a field 10 times.
Oh, that's all right. I have that that fill type silo that I gave one to client. I didn't know if I gave it to you. You could just dump all
I used
stuff
it for.
inside. Okay, good.
Yeah, I used it to get started with the composting and all that stuff.
Right.
That's where I get my loads from, and it's kind of cheating money, but at the same time, the way Will has the map set up, I didn't sell any of the buildings, so I'm paying, I think it's like $5,000 a day for property maintenance.
Right.
Yeah, that's maintenance will kill you on them things.
So in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm paying money. There's expenses, but it's, I can't buy it from somebody yet. I wish that feature was there, where you could buy stuff from the AI farmer. I think that would be cool. But
Well, on my East Coast map for 2017, I had PC farms where you could buy like fur and stuff from them. I may do more of that in Nebraska lands also.
I think, I really think like an area on the map where people could buy stuff from instead of just a shop. I think that would be a really neat feature. Maybe you want maybe you don't feel like running any equipment. You just want to do animals for a few days, but you don't want to buy everything from the shop. You know, you want to go down the street, get your straw bales, or you know a guy that does hay.
Mm-hmm. Well, the what you call it, the manure is real cheap on Emerald Coast if you get it from the animal lot. That was actually a good idea of FK's to do that.
That's what I've been buying that from. I actually been buying the manure.
I'm gonna be doing that again in Nebraska lands also, but I'm thinking about putting like an NPC farm maybe close to the edge of the map with just like a grain silo system, and maybe you can just go over there and then just buy grain from him at like a cheaper price. Like say you need some wheat or you need some soybeans or whatever, and yeah, man, I got some. Come on over and get it, you know. To kind of alleviate that a little bit on Emerald Coast, I started off with some good quantities of grain in all the bins. Every bin on Emerald Coast has stuff in it when you start the game.
Yeah, but I emptied emptied everything in the XML before I started, not thinking about, I might need stuff.
Whoops.
For my story, and then I'm like, I can. But so I've been using that silo that Darren was talking about. It doesn't charge you, but I've just been buying straw and sugar beets.
Is that the gnome I saw sitting out there by the driveway?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The guard gnome. And that's a beautiful John Deere disc. Never seen a red one before though.
Well, I'd like to find the green one.
I got a green one. I'll give it to you if you want it. I'm wishing somebody would convert the actual case one that was in 17 because it was very realistic and it was just as big as the John Deere, or dang near close anyway. What's that? That's the 50 footer there, so I guess the case was actually the 40 footer, but still it was a big disc.
Did I send you that disc that Rooster Mods did? I think it's like a 2620. It's an older one from the 70s.
No.
I thought I sent that to you. Anywho, he's working on, because it's a disc plow, so it plows the ground. But I think he's working on a version that has a harrow on the back of it, so it'll do both. And you can buy the disc plow by itself, and I think you can buy the harrow by itself. But if you attach the two of them, then it would do like a plow cultivate state.
That's one of my pet peeves. I really wish these guys would quit making those discs into plows, because they do not plow. They do not do the dirt in that way in real life. In no way, shape, or fashion does that disc plow the ground.
Yeah, but in their defense, you shouldn't have to plow. You shouldn't have to moldboard plow after you plant corn.
You shouldn't, but just turn the plowing off in the game and you're done. You don't have to
true.
Click it off. See, in 17, you didn't have the option to turn that off, and that was what sucked. Yeah. I could understand people wanting to cheat, but if you don't, around here in Emerald Coast, we never plow, ever.
I don't ever see anybody. That deep tillage. Craig, do you guys do that?
Nope. My boss has got it's a Case International. And it's, I don't know, it's got some little crumbler roller baskets on the back, and it's got these, kind of like a chisel plow. It's got these pieces that go down in, and he says, but the problem with them using it, he says it does turn the soil good, but it pulls up a lot of rocks.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't get used. It's sitting in the shed. And we don't plow.
And see, none of them chisels even get down deep enough to bust up the hard pan, which is what the whole point of soil compaction and all that, like the compaction mod. That's what you're trying to avoid, is the compaction. See, and when you get too much compaction, you need a ripper or a subsoiler. Even a moldboard plow doesn't go down deep enough to totally get rid of hard pan. Because what we found is, the furrows, how they're turning the dirt over. The plow is excellent for turning the dirt over. You want to take a meadow and turn it into a field, run a plow through it. It turns the dirt completely over. But it only goes down, 10, 12 inches, or however deep the furrow, the thingies are running. And then from that point lower, you've got hard pan. So you need a ripper, a subsoiler, in order to bust up the hard pan. A disc is not even going to go down as deep as a plow. Although a disc is going to do a really good job of, we use them in the fall to chop up the straw, the stubble from the corn and the beans or whatever. They're good for that.
Yeah, that's when I see them on YouTube. I don't around here that nobody does corn, but that's what it looks like on YouTube. They use the disc for is if they're gonna go like you said, when they're done in the fall with corn, they'll chisel plow it, not chisel plow, but they'll disc plow it to cut up the leftover corn stuff.
Yeah, that's one thing I was always frustrated with Giants about too, with their dirt textures. If you've ever watched behind the disc as it's running through a cornfield or a wheat field, or seen YouTube videos of it, that dirt don't look nothing like Giants dirt. You got all kind of residue in that dirt. That's the whole point. You're chopping it up so it can rot and go back on down into the soil again. In fact, in Missouri, where I used to live, we used things like chisel plows mostly in the spring, to bust up the dirt good after the cold winter, because it was frozen ground, throughout the winter. And you knock it out, you bust it up good. You got a harrow behind it to smooth it out good, and you come behind it with your planter, and you're good to go.
Hey, Darren, did you ever sell the Field 24 up there, or are you still at it?
I think I kept it and I planted something on it.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna fast forward enough time so we can mow a little bit of alfalfa, bale it, and then we can call it a night, and you can go pick up your new game. So you can play. You have to work this weekend, don't you?
Yeah, I gotta work all weekend, so.
Like to give that a shot, because you usually stay up late anyway.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy that one game I was talking about. That what's that called?
That Void bad word, you better.
Yeah,
Why?
yeah, it's called Void Bastards. It's the name of the game.
Yeah, I know.
It looks fun though.
Oh yeah.
Well, I already got that for you. I just need your freaking name so you can play it.
Oh no, you did not.
Yeah, I did.
Seriously?
Yeah. What do you think I want your Steam name for?
I don't know. Maybe because we're friends.
Well,
You did not buy.
well, now-
You did not buy me a. You did not buy me a
Well,
game.
yeah,
Really?
I did that with all my people. You're my people now.
Man, you didn't have to do that. Damn, Darren.
Well, I want some content out of your dang channel. Besides, eating poop, and that's all I get.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to play it. Man, that's awesome. You did. I don't know what to say.
Well,
Speechless.
You better say
He's
you like
Yeah.
it, because you were getting ready to say, "Oh, I'm not good in that game." I
No,
looked at it and it's rated
I was-
baby.
No, I said I was gonna wait for it to go on sale, but then somebody just bought it.
Let's see.
Wow, thank you. I don't know what to say other than thank you.
See, Darren's good people.
Oh, Darren wants to sleep. Hang on. Let me get out of the vehicle.
At least John's fixed that part, huh?
Yeah, I forgot that worked.
Man, he's tired. 12 hours? Goodness.
Yeah, he had to eat, shower. He had to take the dogs out. Let me park this cotton harvester. Are you done with cotton?
I want to get to the point where I can sell that thing.
I think you got all your cotton harvested, don't you?
Yeah, that cotton harvester's terrible to keep that thing maintained. Man, I see alfalfa growing over there.
Hey, this worked pretty good. You can jump into New Holland and take it down there and start mowing.
That's some purdy alfalfa now.
The swath mower.
10-4. Let's hope this works, since the anhydrous was a joke. But I didn't tweak this, so this should work.
You had to go and break your applicator. The trigger works fine.
Well, it's that modding stuff where you start touching things and you just can't help yourself. I can make it better.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I know. Been there, done that.
You should have just you know, as soon as I started, you should have been like, "Damn it, Raz, what'd you do?" It was working fine till you got
Yeah,
here.
well, I hope you actually used it in your personal life, but you know it's not a total joke.
I've played around with it a little, yes, and it does work. I've got plans for all this stuff. All right.
Something I did in 15 with soil mod that maybe I'll have to try again. I had found a mod for an actual real life, what we used to call in Missouri, a cultivator. See, in Missouri, we didn't call discs and chisel plows cultivators. We called them discs and chisel plows.
Right, a
And
cultivator
so,
was for cultivating corn and beans.
exactly, pulling the weeds up between the frickin' rows, you know, and you hung it
Yes,
by.
exactly.
Or you had one that was hung on the front of the tractor, or maybe one of those funny ones that come out both sides of the tractor. But either way, you know, you had a row crop tractor and you had a cultivator on it. And so I want to set one up to where it only kills weeds. You know, where you drag it across the field, it's just pulling the weeds out, and that would be cool.
I was just showing
Dad
off that DB60s throw-alls. Some pretty nice arrows.
Oh, look at the purple.
Yeah, I ain't got no errors from mine, so mine's a newer version than yours, obviously. So I'll just shoot you mine. I'll give you the one I got, because my son found it someplace.
See, I get a lot of my stuff from that Artie Allen's mod list. But he has no problem with playing with junk that has errors. As long as it don't crash his game, he'll use it.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Working like a champ. Now you just bail this up, or do you have to rake? I mean, do you have to? You don't have to ted it or anything.
Only if we want to make alfalfa hay with it.
Okay.
We can do half
So-
and half. I just want to see if we're gonna blow chunks. I want you to use the baler then.
Now that little that script is kind of took care of the issue with the path, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I did test it, just me, but I haven't done it on multiplayer.
Ah, so this will be the big test. Hey, DB's in the house. What's up, dude?
He was talking about that cultivator,
Mm-hmm.
Will. My
Yeah.
dad had a little WD Alice with the narrow front end,
Mm-hmm.
and had a neighbor that had an old WD-45, and Dad went over and borrowed his cultivator that mounted on the front of the tractor and come down the sides, and then there was a piece for the back, and you cultivated 2 rows at a time.
Oh wow, 2 whole rows. But hey, it's better than weeding by hand.
Yeah. And then he ended up getting a 4-row that worked pretty good, but it was big. It took it made the front of the tractor pretty light, and he come up with one. It was a homemade 4-row, but it would fold up into the width of a 2-row, made out of 2 Ferguson cultivators.
Oh, okay. Wow. I know when I was a kid, 8 rows seemed like a real popular size. I think I saw a couple of 10-row ones floating around, but 8 rows usually. And most of them are 3-point hitch models. I think International made one, and we saw a John Deere one. I think I even saw a Ford one once, which was kind of unusual because I did see some Ford equipment around here and there, but it was on its way out. You know.
You might want to slow down time, Darren.
Oh. You'll know if things are going horrible. You'll get like real bad lag.
No, the only errors I got are guidance steering.
Yep, same one I got. It works. Perfect.
Nice. That's awesome. It's always nice when things work.
That first baler
No.
was grass because he hit grass before I pulled the baler into the grass before he got into the field.
Gotcha.
Yeah, gently rolling hills over there, man. It must have been an earthquake here in Emerald Ghost or something. I must have slept through it.
Well, yeah, the plates were shifting.
Cuba collided with the coast.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to jump off here, guys, and I will talk to you all later.
Yep. Good talking with you, Craig. See you, man.
All right.
Yep, good
take
talking
care.
with you guys.
Take
Oh,
care.
absolutely.
Okay.
Whoops, turn on the mower first.
Hey, look at me! I got guiding steering on. And I don't know how to use it. How do we? When I get in here, how do I turn around?
If you just turn, it'll turn it off. And then you line up your next course, and I don't know. I have mine set to a mouse key to lock it in, so it's really easy. But yeah, just drive and turn. Should go away.
Which do you want to do?
I don't. It's whatever you don't want to do. You pick. Here, I'll do the mower because you don't like guidance steering. So. This turned out nice there. And you can just use it in replacement of grass, is that?
Yep. Yeah, it's a food type. You could take the bale up there and feed it to cows and the sheep if we had them. It just kind of feels too worky.
I don't think sheep would do too well in Florida. I don't know. Seems like it's a little hot for those type of animals.
Yeah, I don't really see a whole lot of sheep around here, but I put them in because they were in the game.
Yep.
That's one reason I made the cow pasture a standalone thing, and the sheep pasture is kind of like a child of it. If you you notice, the sheep pasture only has an additional building, and then no fence or anything. So you can sell it, and then the cow area still looks complete.
Alright, Rez, when you get the end road there, you can go grab the telehammer or whatever, grab a bale, feed it to cows, and call this a stream, and get on with the rest of the night.
Here, I'll just. Want me to throw it on helper or no?
Yeah, it actually does work.
Ooh, helper works. That's good.
Sure does. I'm gonna grab the telehandler.
See, Darren's a professional modeler now. He's got it all going on. He's our go-to man.
He's good at it.
Yep.
Well, that was just delightful testing. I know that works.
Nope, I'm just ended up in the middle of field 14.
Whoops.
It's like I jumped through a portal. That corn texture looks nice.
I was watching some guy, I just watched the other day. He did a start on Emerald Coast where he kind of got rid of all the starting barns down there, and he used all that modding welt and put all that stuff down there. It was pretty cool, all that stuff he did.
Mhm.
His goal was to, what the heck did he say? Oh, buy the whole map basically from starting out over there.
Yeah, I remember I saw his first one too. That was pretty nice. It's kind of funny how many people start the map and want to change all the buildings out. But I guess what he did is he started it in farm manager mode right from the jump, so he probably doesn't even know what was there originally. Does anybody that's still playing it with the default farm buildings on the main farm, have they noticed the improvement in the buildings with the latest version?
Yeah, I looked at them. They look pretty good.
To be honest with you, I haven't even updated to the latest version. I completely forgot about it, to be honest with you. I need to do that. And I'll have to do that height adjustment in XML because I didn't sell anything, any of the buildings.
Okay. Well, then that's only for that's just for the hay thing, the little pole barn majiggy that's over there at the cow farm.
I might just sell it then. That big one, like the big.
The rusty looking
Tall
one that's around behind by the red building.
Okay, yeah, I might just sell that then. Then I don't have to worry about the height adjustment.
All you have to do is just look in your items XML in your save game and just change one number, so it's really not much.
It took the alfalfa. Worked like a champ. Yep. And it's neat that you said you can dry it and bale it as alfalfa hay too. Nice. It works. Works very well, Darren.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll close this thing out and we can continue to yap while I look you up on Steam. All right.
Better. Yeah, you better turn withering off because you got a couple fields that are close. I don't know if you have it on or
I
not.
turned it off when I knew I was going to fast forward this from seeds. All right.
Let's see. Yeah, I accepted your friend request already. So.
All right. Sounds cool. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.